What's up, everybody?
Hi, welcome back. Welcome back.
We are so excited about the show that we have for you guys today. What's going on?
Hey, nothing. What's up with you?
Just chilling. Everything good with you?
Yes, it is.
You looking mighty.
Mighty what? Ah, Jesus. Hey, what we gonna talk about?
Yeah. What's up? What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. We are so glad that you guys tuned in to another episode of Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon, where we are just real people.
Hey, dealing with real issues.
Absolutely. Listen, we don't have all the answers,
No, we don't.
but we know somebody that has all the answers. So listen, tell somebody real quickly to tell somebody that Josh and Sharon is on with another episode of Let's Talk or Let's Conversate. Yeah, absolutely. So listen, we have a action-packed 30-minute show for you guys today. And this one here is an educational show.
Yes, it is.
We're going to talk about it. We don't have all the answers. All our answers might not be the right answers, but, this is just, our opinion.
Yeah, we're here to have a conversation.
Absolutely. So what we're talking about today, Sharon?
Hey, today we're talking about emergency funds versus savings.
Emergency funds versus savings. Good topic.
Yes, it is.
Very educational because there's a lot of people out here, they don't really know the difference between some emergency fund and savings.
You're right about
You
it.
got a lot of people out here don't even know nothing about emergency funds.
That's true.
Some people think emergency funds and savings is the same
It's
thing,
Yeah.
which it should not be.
It's two separate things.
Two separate things. So we're gonna dive in real quick, and we're gonna talk about this thing with you guys about this emergency fund versus savings. So what is emergency fund? Let's talk about what is a emergency fund. What you got there on your end?
Okay. An emergency fund is a separate savings or bank account used to cover or offset the expense of an unforeseen situation. It shouldn't be considered a nest egg or calculated as part of a long-term savings plan for a college tuition, a new car, or a vacation.
Absolutely. So in other words, emergency fund is just what it's supposed to be, an emergency fund.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people, they don't really understand that, when you put aside of emergency fund, and I hear people talk about that emergency fund should be anywhere between 3 to
6 months.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. Absolutely. Of life. I call it life happens.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Life happens expense because life happens.
Yes, it does.
Right? Somebody gets sick, end up at emergency room. You got an emergency room bill that you did not anticipate having. That is a emergency reason, right?
Yes, it
That's
is.
a reason to use or utilize your emergency fund, right?
That's true.
Or
it can be some type of mechanic issue with your vehicle.
Absolutely. A major mechanic issue, a transmission, or a motor, or
flat tire.
Yeah, or an accident, you need to pay your
deductible.
Absolutely. And some people deductibles, average deductible about $1,000.
$1,000.
So these are reasons that you would tap into your emergency fund.
That's correct.
Right. And so this fund that you have put away, which is 3 to 6 months, another good reason to use your emergency fund is something happened on your job.
Okay. Injuries, or you're out because you're sick.
Absolutely. Or some type of death or something that occurred in the family or something like that, and you got to take off. These are reasons that you should use emergency fund.
That's correct.
There are not any other reasons that you should use your emergency fund unless something, catastrophic.
It's an emergency.
It's an emergency.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it is. We need to understand that emergencies are emergencies and savings are savings. So, the savings, what is a savings? A savings, what is a savings? A savings is, we on what is the savings on there? Savings is an account that you would put up money in for long-term things, such as college tuition, such as buying a car,
Yes.
you know, or Christmas. Christmas is not an emergency, folks. That's what and I had to give kudos right here, to my uh, I'm a very, very, very fan of Dave Ramsey, right? And I heard Dave Ramsey say on his show, and I wrote it down because I wanted to use it. Every savings dollar has a job.
Yes, it does.
So, in other words, with your savings account, these are the longevity account. This is your longevity account. Most people take their savings money and they throw it in an account and use it as a broad thing. It's like a broad account.
Yes.
It really doesn't have no objective. The money, every dollar does not have a specific goal to meet. And if we start looking at this thing in a different way, where when you put your money in your savings account, now we're talking about the savings account. We're not talking about the emergency fund. We just identified what your emergency fund is for. So stop going in your emergency fund to run to the grocery store. No, you knew all month long that your groceries were getting low, and it was time for you to start re-ing up as you was eating up. You understand?
Yes.
So there ain't no emergency. Just go grab your emergency fund because you got to get groceries. Nah.
Yeah,
You knew that. You
emergency.
foreseen that was coming. Christmas is not an emergency because you foreseen Christmas coming. You should have started in July. Y'all know about that Christmas in July? Absolutely. I look at Christmas in July as that, well, I better gear up for Christmas in December then. And start gathering some things, right?
Start early.
So Ramsey said that every savings dollar should have a goal, a job.
Yes.
And I agree with that. Instead of just dumping money into your savings and, oh, this is my savings account, if it don't have a job, each dollar don't have a working job, then you kind of just throwing money in and you pulling money out, throwing money in, pulling money out, and you kind of doing it at will, and you kind of seem to be going in a circle, and it seems like you're not getting anywhere. You're not going, you're not prospering because you're not making every dollar work.
Okay.
All right. How you make every dollar work? When you put your money in a savings account, if you want to down the road, you trying to get your money up for a new car, right? If you're trying to get your money up for a new car, then have a specific dollar amount that you save in your savings that's going towards that new car.
Yes.
Huh?
That's correct.
It makes sense, don't it?
It makes sense.
Instead of just throwing money in the savings account, you just saving and you pulling out here and pulling out there, putting back, pulling out, putting back. Those dollars just sitting there and they just all having a meeting with each other and just standing around and ain't doing,
actually putting it in categories.
Good. Yeah.
In categories. So like, say for instance, you're preparing for your son or daughter to go off to college. You put that in a category. This is for college funds, or this is for Christmas, or this is for a vacation that we have coming up. Like, just put it in categories.
Absolutely. Put it in categories. And I mean, I couldn't say that no better myself. And, and once you put it in categories, then as you're saving with a purpose.
That's right.
You ain't just saving this is my savings account. And then when something go up or you come short over here on a bill, we had this conversation before of how to, strategize your income. And every bit of your income that you got coming in, you know what's coming in your household.
Yes, you do.
Because number one, ain't nobody finna rip you off. You know what I mean? Poor folk, huh?
Look here, we're gonna be calculating them hours.
Poor folk know what money coming in. Now you might act default dumb when it's time for what to go out. And I forgot I had to pay that. I got that due again already. You might get D4D, when it's time to send that money out. But when that money supposed to come in and hit that account, you know what's coming up in there.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Ain't nobody finna scheme and weave on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's very just as important that when that money comes in, that you allocate that money to different branches of where it needs to go.
Yes.
Make your money work for you. I think most of my listening audience is not millionaires. I can safely say that.
Yes.
Nobody's millionaire. So we millionaires, they do their money. I ain't even on that level. So I can't fathom, how they allocate their money. But folk that that count them dollars like me, you know what I mean? I need to know where that money going at. You know what I mean? I can tell you anytime of the day where my money going out at. Shoot. I ain't just throwing money out there where that place was we used to be back in the days downtown where the fish and then you go in there, the wishing well and throwing the money in the wishing well or
The what
the little
well?
goldfish used to be downtown and you throw the bread and then feed them big old fish. You try to reach your hand and catch the fish, whatever the case may be. Yeah,
Wishing well.
yeah. Well, it was downtown and I noticed they had these goldfishes and things down in there. You could throw people come down and throw bread and this is in the city I grew up in and you throw your bread in there. But I always used to look down and you see coins,
Hmm.
quarters, dimes, nickels, and I ain't never seen no dollars in there, you know what I mean? But I seen coins in there, but you know what I mean? They're just throwing money. I ain't throwing money. I want to know where all my money at all times.
So you threw the bread.
Through the bread. That wasn't no analogy or nothing like that. I just thought about that. But listen, I'm telling you, every dollar that you got, you need to
Make it count.
in your savings, you need to absolutely make it count and you need to give it a job, right?
Yes.
Give it a job. You got kids coming through school, grade school. You want to send them to college because you know me. I'm just like my good buddy there, Dave Ramsey. I'm against student loans. I'm not with the student loan thing. You know what I mean? And um, I'm not even really with financing vehicles, but I understand that some people can't afford to go out and buy a vehicle, so they have to finance things. So therefore, if you're gonna finance it, then that's a whole nother subject. But this here is talking about savings, and if you save right and long enough, and you make every dollar work, I believe you can get to the point where you can save up to actually buy you a car.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So my point is to this here is to make every dollar count and to stop using your emergency fund,
funds.
absolutely emergency fund as some type of savings account or come to account. You know what I mean? I come to this account every time I'm in need. You can't make up your own emergencies. You can if you choose to. You just never have no money in your emergency fund.
Yes.
Emergency fund is for people that have a life crisis that something happened where you have to have funds to take care of something that have been emergency. And also, when you do extract
Okay.
from your emergency fund, everything you got going on, and this is what I would do now. This is a conversation. We don't have all the answers. You know what I mean? We just, real people. Just conversating about this thing. But if, in my opinion, if I had to go into my emergency fund and take anything out of my emergency fund, whatever I'm doing comes to a halt until I replace
that money that you
that I
out of the
took
emergency
absolutely out of that emergency fund and put it back into that emergency fund. So if I'm investing
fund.
in the stock markets or whatever the case may be, the S&P 500, if I'm investing in some type of Roth IRA, I don't care what I'm investing into. I don't give a care. Everything ceases.
Yeah.
You understand?
Until that money
Until
goes
I
back in there.
put that emergency fund back full force where it needs to be. That's the purpose of having an emergency fund. I'm not putting nothing in no savings, none of that. Now, once that emergency fund get back to where it needs to be, then I can resume absolutely the normals that I have already been doing.
I agree.
We should do this. You know what I mean? Because stuff happens. You can get hurt in your job can do a layoff, a mass layoff, anything. You need to have 3 to 6 months. Me preferably, I'd rather have this closer to 6 months. But he made a point. They made a point also about the more money you have. When you follow these systems, you follow those baby steps and stuff, and you do all that stuff that he recommend, and I follow his stuff. And you do all that stuff that he recommend, or whatever the case may be. Once you start getting rid of all your debt, right? Once all your debt and stuff is gone, you have more money that's in your power. You know what I mean? Because you're not sending all your money out paying all these different bills or whatever the case be. So my point is, when you get more money in your power and you got less debt, then you might not have to have an emergency fund of 6 months. You might have an emergency fund only up to 3 months. Why? Because there's less of a chance that you will have such of an emergency because you got more money in your pocket if you follow the steps and pay off all that debt Get that stuff behind you. Build your emergency fund up. Invest into the markets and everything. And do everything the right way and stop that impulse buying. That was one of my biggest things was impulsive buying, just buying on the spot. If we can eliminate some of these things and practice better habits,
Yes.
we'll have a stronger buying power
Yes.
with our own money.
Yes.
Then we won't need and have to rely on so many credit cards. Some people live for these credit cards, and I'm a victim of that, having 8, 9 credit cards and stuff like that. It's just in-store cards, Visa cards, having all that. Think I was doing something, but all I was doing was making the lenders rich as ever. And I was staying poor as ever because I was always trying to stay in good standings with them to get their flying air miles and get all the little flying miles. But you spending so much money to accumulate those little miles that they give you, it doesn't weigh out. You put it on a balanced scale of the money that you have to spend to attain that 760 to 800 850 credit score. It doesn't balance out. Your end is heavier than what they're giving you. You understand what I'm saying? So why do we need all that credit? You don't understand what I'm saying? When you just if you do the right thing, suffer. Here's the key word today. I should have had this on the screen. Suffer. To be Christ-like, you have to be willing to suffer through some things, right? So if you just suffer for a while, come on, somebody. All right, let me do that. All right. If you just suffer for a while, nobody don't want to suffer no more. You understand what I'm saying? There you go. Suffer for a while. Suffer for a while. Huh? Yes. Suffer for a while. Then you pay off your debt.
Yes.
Huh? Get that stuff behind you. You don't owe nobody. Run up here to Nashville, Tennessee, and go holler at Ramsey and do the debt payoff scream, and I'm out of debt. Get that debt off you. Don't that feel good? Just talking about it just make you feel good. Like it empowers you.
Yes.
Getting out of debt. Don't owe nobody nothing. Owe nobody nothing.
Nothing.
All that money you spending, right? Trying to pay off them past bills and everything. So when you spend all that money paying off those past bills and everything, now you accumulating that same money for yourself.
Yeah, you got more.
The same intensity you use to pay off that small bill to the next bill to the next bill. That's the baby steps. Pay off the smallest to the largest or whatever. So after you pay off the Ramsey. Pay off your small debt, it empowers you to go ahead and keep working, pay off the next day. Once you get all that stuff paid off, because I followed this, once you get all that stuff paid off, the same money you was investing to pay off, from that smallest, you paid off that smallest bill. Now you pay off the smallest bill, you pay the minimum on the rest of them, and then after you once you go to the next bill, the money that you use to pay off that first bill, you take that and add it to the minimum that you're paying off the next bill and pay that bill off, and you so on and so on.
Keep knocking them down.
And then once you get to the last one, and after you pay that off, all that money that you were using there, then you take that money right there, and then you fill up you get your emergency fund from 3 to 6 months or whatever. Once you get that up, then you take all that money, then you start investing. I think you're like 15% or something like that if you take home. Now when you get up in there, I'm kind of getting I get a little fuzzy in there, of what he wants you to do. But my point is, you don't have to have such a big emergency fund once you got more of your own money.
Yes.
And you got more of your own money, and the only way you're gonna obtain more of your own money is because you have paid off all the debts and you don't have all the debt creditors and stuff, and the lenders and stuff looking at you, or whatever the case may be. Then when you got more of your own money, you got more buying power, you don't really need all the credit cards or whatever, because you'll make better choices. Right. You know what I mean? And you do need credit cards and trying to, stay in good standings with these people, you're just making them rich and holding yourself up. You understand what I'm saying? But if you utilize your savings account, understand that your emergency fund is not a savings account. Your savings account is not an emergency fund account. And you understand that, and you separate the two, one from the other. Then once you establish and full fund your emergency fund, and then you start working on your savings account, then you take your savings account, you make every dollar work, right?
Make it work.
Make it have a purpose. And then when you're doing that, you have a better sense of control of your finances. And you have a better sense of control of your finances when you're ready to go buy a car. You could go buy your cash car because you already allocated money for a essential amount of time that was for that car. So guess what? When you go buy that car, it won't seem like it hurt your savings account. Like you don't drain your savings account out because you went and bought a car. Guess what? Your savings account gonna still be healthy because you made every dollar work for itself.
That's
And
right.
then you already had those dollar amount allocated for that car that you wanted to buy, that child you wanted to send to school, them Christmas gifts you wanted to buy on Christmas, right?
Yes.
That
Or
vacation,
vacation.
yeah, absolutely, that you wanted to take during the year. You already allocated money for that. And that will help you if you do it that way. That will help you. And you, and you, you. Stop impulsive buy. Oh, you don't have that problem, do you? Who that is? Are you looking at me? I used to have that problem. Okay. Hi, my name is Josh, and I had a problem with impulsive buying. Do this 12-step program to get out of the impulsive buy. I don't impulsive buy no more. I quit.
You're better.
Yeah, so much better.
So much better.
Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast with Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. They truly appreciate your support. Thank you for following them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, subscribing to their YouTube channel. If you would like to make a contribution towards the podcast to further its reach, please feel free to do so with Cashapp, $Let's Conversate. Again, thank you for watching Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. Back to today's podcast.
Listen, y'all, we got to do some shout outs real quick. I want to get my shout outs in because I know this is good. We're talking about some good stuff over here. And, but listen, if you're in the Orlando area, there's a church over there in Winter Garden, 820 South Park Avenue, Winter Garden, Florida. Dr. Coretha M. James and Pastor Norman James are the pastors over there. This is a good church. If you're looking for a church to visit, fellowship, or a place to call home, the New Chief Cornerstone is it. I strongly recommend these people, good people. You're going to come as a friend and leave as family. But when you get there, make sure you tell them that Josh and Sharon sent you from Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. New Hope, Church of God in Christ, 303 South University Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, under the leadership of Pastor Anthony Graham and Lady Graham. This is a good church that don't mind having church. Oh man, these are foot stomping, hand clapping, soul searching. Oh man, trying to win you to Christ. And if you ever in the Tennessee area looking for a church to visit or to call home, check out New Hope, Church of God in Christ. I guarantee you when you leave there, you will feel renewed. New Hope, Church of God in Christ. Also, while we're giving shout outs, you got some?
Okay. Thank you, Auntie Sonia, for tuning into our show.
Absolutely.
We greatly appreciate you.
That's my auntie, y'all. That's my baby. All right.
Also, my sister Ruth and Michelle, thank you all for showing support.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle and Ruth. All right. Yeah, good. Listen, all you all that supports us on the regular, we appreciate it. And we thank God for each and every one of you all that continue to support us, that see the work that God has for us to do. We're excited about this podcast. And we pray that the content that we put out can help somebody. Like I said, we don't have all the answers.
No, we don't.
And we don't even try to have all the answers. We just want to have a conversation. We know Christ, and he has all the answers. So we just like to have a conversation and dialogue, about hot topics.
Yes.
This stuff is like everyday life stuff that we're talking about, right?
Yes.
So, we like to come on and, God have blessed us with a pulpit to be able to, share, the thoughts and the things that he have laid on our heart to conversate with different people about. So listen, you guys continue to pray for us and continue to lift this podcast up and continue to like, share, and subscribe, and tell somebody that Josh and Sharon's on with Let's Conversate, where we're just real people.
Hey, dealing with real issues.
Absolutely. So listen, you guys, back to the topic at hand. So listen, the moral to this story is simply create you a emergency fund, and especially in this day and time, because we're living in a day and time that it's critical to have a little nest egg. We done heard, all our lives, about grandma's nest egg. That's even more important now today to have a little nest egg, stored away, because you never know what's going to happen. I remember when, the pandemic first happened, my job was not considered what is called essential worker. Absolutely. So we shut down for a couple months, and I found myself trying to find other means of work because the bills that we had at the time, with all the debt that we was in at that time, I felt like, just sitting back waiting on unemployment, for me, I just didn't want to do that. I needed more. So I decided to continue to work. And my wife, I think you worked pretty much the whole pandemic as well too. So, but there was times that we needed that rainy fund. We needed that emergency fund for things. And thank God we've been on top of this for a while now. And we learned the importance of following these steps and not just getting paid and taking our money and going into these stores and stuff and just spending money,
whatever we
buying stuff, whatever we want to buy. Listen, we ain't rich, and here's the thing. I want to leave this with you. If you pay attention to this real good, you guys, this is my opinion. If you do not have all your debt paid off, right? Debt is not a light bill. Number one, let's understand that. Debt is not a light bill. Debt is not your cell phone bill. Debt is not car insurance. That's not that. Those are called reoccurring bills.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Debt is them folk that you don't forget about. Hospital bills.
Creditors.
Old car loans. That's debt. And that's breathing down, calling you from them numbers. You be trying to block all of them. You can't. It ain't enough blocking in the world. You can't block them folk. Them folk gonna find numbers to call you from. They're gonna call you from the desk right here, then the cube over here, then the cube around there. They're gonna desk around. They're gonna call you from the bathroom phone. They're gonna call you from all kinds of phone. They got phones to call you from.
Yes, they do.
So pay off all your debt, right?
Yes.
Get a full funded emergency fund, right?
Yes.
Once you get a full funded emergency fund and paid off all your debt, then you are at ground zero.
Yes.
So if you don't have that, that means you're underwater. So you ain't got no money to be loaning nobody, right?
Yeah.
I don't loan money anyway. Listen, all you out there that want to call Josh and want to borrow some money, I don't loan money. If I can't just give it to you, then without looking for it back, then I don't have it. I don't have it to give. That's my principle. You could adopt it or not. If you ask me for money and I can't just give you that money and don't have to look for it back, then I really don't have it to give. Right?
Yeah.
If I got to look for my money back, then I don't have it to give, because there's a chance I could lose my money in my friendship with you, and I value my friendship with you, so I ain't gonna give you my money. But I am gonna help you, and offer my opinion, our opinion on how to help you to better control and utilize your money.
Yes.
And hopefully there's something that we say on this show that will help somebody, to be better stewards of what God have blessed them with. So again, if you don't have all your debt paid off, and if you don't have a full funded emergency fund, you are underground. You need to get to ground zero so you can climb up. You can't climb up until you get to ground zero. And only way you're going to be truly at ground zero, you have to have your debt fully paid off and your full funded emergency fund. Then you'll be sitting on top of the ground. Then you can go up to investing, and you can go up to savings, and you can go up to saving for the children's college tuition and stuff like that. So Hey, listen, you guys, we have enjoyed the day. It has been good.
Yes, it has.
But unfortunately, all good things sometimes come to an end. The only good thing that ain't gonna never come to an end is a seat in the kingdom. We're striving to get there.
Amen.
But this show for the day is coming to an end. Listen, this has been fun. It's always fun. Every time me and Sharon gets on, it's my ride or die, y'all. I give her the hardest time in the world, but she with me. And we're just striving for perfection as we move through this land.
Amen.
So, y'all, we got to go. And I done drug this out long enough.
Okay.
Good music. I love good music, especially when it's the Lord music. But for now, we're going to get out of here, y'all. So until next time, deuces.